Today, I'm super excited to talk to you about how to become aware of your subconscious mind. And a lot of times, people don't even realize what the subconscious mind is. And so realize it's not that conscious, rational thought, or sometimes irrational thought that you have throughout the day, but it's that automated program that's running throughout the day. It's your habits, it's your habitual reactions, your habitual responses, the way that you go throughout the day without actively realizing it. In other words, it's almost like your brain has trained your body to become in a way where your body is automated. A perfect example, of course, is when you jump in your car and you drive to work. You're not thinking about driving to work. You're not saying, I need to get off this exit. You're simply getting off it. And so we don't realize that 95% of our day is a habit. Okay, so only 5% of that time, we don't realize it, but 5% of the time we're using our conscious mind, 95% we're using the subconscious. So let's talk about how to become aware of what that subconscious mind is for you and what you can do with that knowledge, okay? My name is Dr. Jay Kavanaugh of thevibemindset.com, where we help you manage your mind and expand your consciousness to basically live a happier life and to be more in control of your reality. So let's talk about it. Now, when we talk about becoming more aware, we know that awareness starts with being cognizant or being conscious of the habits that you have, the habitual thoughts, the habitual feelings, actions, the habits that you're doing throughout the day. When you put your attention in looking for things and focusing on things, they expand. So if you look at your habits and say, hey, what is driving my behavior? What is driving my thoughts? What is driving my feelings? You start to dive deeper into what the subconscious mind actually is and what your programs are. No different than a computer, right? And so one of the things that I like to do is I like to think of like a pyramid. And at the base of that pyramid, you have your identity. Your identity is who you believe you are. And who you are is a culmination of your thoughts, feelings, and actions repeated over time. And so what happens is when we have our identity here, right? If you believe that you are the type of person that is always kind, caring, and giving, then what will happen is in any situation in life, that default program of I am kind, caring, and giving is running. So if all of a sudden you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you see someone at the side of the road as you're walking, let's say out through the grocery store with your groceries in your little cart, you might say, hey, since I'm kind, caring, and giving, I'm going to say hello to this 90-year-old woman who's loading her groceries in the car. Hey, happy day. How are you? And get that conversation going. Now, you didn't actively start to think that you should do that, but the program running, your default subconscious mind, wanted you to take an action that was in alignment with who you believe you are to be. And so that is that default subconscious programming that I am kind, caring, and giving. Therefore, I'm going to do things that kind, caring, and giving people do. And that is to maybe start a conversation, maybe even help that woman put her bags in the back of her car, right? And so that default program ignites and sparks the conscious reactions and responses you have to your external reality, right? So that is at the identity level. Now, when we talk about the belief level, a classic example of that would be, do you believe the world is a happy place or an unhappy place? Now, if you believe it's an unhappy place and all of a sudden you're stuck in traffic, right? You're gonna view traffic through the lens of that default program, that belief. Think about that pyramid once again. That belief system that you have is going to guide the way that you respond and react to your external environment. In this case, it would be the traffic. And so an example of that would be if you have, hey, the world is a negative place and things never work out for anyone. If you have that belief, traffic will ignite anxiety. It will ignite you to maybe beep your horn at someone for not moving fast enough when there's only 3 car lengths in front of them and no one's going anywhere anyways, right? So you have to realize that one of the ways to become aware of your subconscious mind is to actually look at the reactions you have to your environment. Because when you have a reaction where you're being a little aggressive or getting a little anxious, if you tie it in and really do the work. Now, I'm not saying this is easy. It does take time, but the more you put energy and emphasis into it, the easier it gets. The more you put emphasis and time into, hey, why did I do that? Why was my default response this? Why was my default reaction to say this? Then you start to go back and dive deeper into what is my program? And then if you realize that your program says, hey, the world is an unfriendly place, well, if a stranger says something to you, you're going to think that they want something from you. Now, if your default program is the world is an amazing place, if someone says hi to you, you're going to be like, wow, there's validation that the world is in fact a good place. I knew it. Here's the validation. Here is the proof that my belief in my subconscious mind wants, right? So your subconscious mind is always looking to validate itself. Now, we're not talking so much ego here. We're talking the subconscious mind. It's a little bit different. So we're talking about validating things by looking for the evidence to support the belief that resides in the subconscious mind, right? So it's always looking for that validation. So if you're looking to become more aware of your subconscious mind, it's almost like you have to reverse engineer everything and say, all right, what are my thoughts, feelings, and actions? What is my default program that fed into them? And then the fun work is when you say, wait a minute, I don't like how I reacted and responded to this situation. I don't like the feelings of anxiety and depression or whatever may, start to take over your body. I want to find out what is the root cause of that situation, because don't forget, your default program, your subconscious mind, is going to continue to do the same behaviors and the same reactions and responses. So when you look for patterns, you start to say, wait a minute, here's a pattern going on here. I seem to self-sabotage relationships. Wait, why is that? I seem to lose a lot of jobs. Do I have an issue with authority? Do I need to be my own boss? But either way, there is so much gold waiting for you there when you start to become aware of your subconscious mind and what runs it. And here is the crazy thing. Oftentimes what you will find, at least in my experience with myself, I have found that some of the programs I have were programmed at 5, 6, 7, 8 years of age. And some of them, interestingly enough, are programs that became part of who I am, but were not based on facts. They were not based on reality. They were based on my interpretation of my external reality. And then I internalized it. So an example of that would be, let's say, for example, you've got 5 brothers and sisters and you're the oldest. And being the oldest, your mother and father seem to pay much, much more attention to all the other 4 kids instead of you because, oh, well, you're the oldest, you know better, you know what to do, we don't need to worry about you. Now, all of a sudden, you might take on the subconscious belief that you have low self-worth. You're not loved by your parents. And this is just based on the fact that throughout maybe a day when you were 6, 7 years old, there could have been one incident, one simple incident where all of a sudden it was your birthday and you wanted the attention to be on you. It was finally your day. And now all of a sudden the attention was on your siblings. Never once was the attention on you other than the 15, 20 seconds of you blowing out the candles and listening to happy birthday. And you internalized that and programmed into your mind. This isn't conscious, this is automated. You programmed it and took in that program of I am not worthy, I am not lovable, who knows? Now, it's not based on fact. You interpreted it the way you did, okay? So you want to become more aware of your subconscious mind? Start looking at the patterns, start looking at the habits, start breaking it down. Look for things in your childhood. Look for things that you might have internalized that aren't based on fact. And think about ways that you can maybe change your perspective and your perception of those beliefs and start to do the work of changing them. And then once you start to do that work, which takes time and is not the goal of this video, we just want you to become aware. But awareness is the key. But once you become aware, then you can start taking the next step, which we'll cover in another video, where you can actually take the actions needed to reprogram your subconscious mind, which of course is a very hot subject right now. A lot of people talk about hypnosis. A lot of people talk about, guided meditations and affirmations. We're not going to go into that right now, but becoming aware is so valuable. And you know what? It's interesting, and I want to finish on this point, is that when you become aware of your subconscious mind, you start to say, wait a minute, it's all starting to make sense now. And that's when you start to awaken, because you say, wait a minute, now I see these patterns. Now I feel empowered And I feel like I'm more in control because I realize that all it is a pattern that's automated. And all I have to do is go back to the core of it and do some work on it. But at least you start to realize that it's not really it's not really something that you can't change, but you can't change something until you know what causes it and what to change. And so becoming aware is step number one. If you have any questions or thoughts, comments, would love to hear them. Share them, of course, as always. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out our website, thevibemindset.com. We got some great resources. We're actually writing a book, which is going to be coming out in about 6 months. My name is Dr. Jake Kavanaugh. If you want to watch other videos we have, would love to have you do that. Thank you so very much for your time, and good luck on becoming aware with your subconscious mind and how it guides you. All right, take care.